I was 10 when I first held a silk scarf against my cheek. My mother had left it on the edge of the bed, still warm from her body. I didn't understand why it made my heart race. I only knew I wanted to feel that softness again. That moment stayed quiet inside me for many years, folded like a secret letter. Life passed. School. Work. A marriage that felt more like pretending than living. Then 5 years ago, something cracked open. I woke up one morning and couldn't ignore it anymore. The ache to be softer. To be seen. Not as a man, but as something else. Someone else. My name is Eric Parker, and this is the story of the first time I let someone see me as her. I'd found Caroline's website late one night when sleep wouldn't come. The Natural Self, it was called. The layout was simple. Gentle colors. A photo of a hand resting on lace. But it was her words that gripped me. We don't become someone else, we become more of who we already are. For a week, I circled the page like a moth. I read every word twice. I imagined myself knocking at her door. I imagined myself running away. When I finally called, my hand was shaking. Her voice was soft. She sounded like someone who had waited a long time to be asked the right question. We talked for almost an hour. I don't remember all of it, only how my chest softened when she said, "Whatever you bring with you is enough." It was raining the day I went to see her. Not pouring, just a soft drizzle that kissed the window as I drove. I packed a bag with a few things. A pleated black skirt. A pink camisole. A white lace bra that I wasn't sure I could fill. I wore loose jeans and a gray hoodie, the way I always did when I needed to disappear. Caroline opened the door wearing a long cardigan and no makeup. Her hair was pulled back, and her smile didn't reach too far, but it didn't need to. She didn't hug me. She just stepped aside and said, "Come in." Her studio smelled like lavender and something else. Maybe warm wood. A mirror stood against one wall, rimmed with soft lights. There was a rack of clothes in the corner, a faint trace of perfume in the air. My stomach twisted. I wasn't ready. She made tea. We sat across from each other. She didn't rush me. She asked about my life, and I told her some of it. Not everything. I told her about the scarf, and about the way I sometimes dressed when no one was home. I told her how it felt, like slipping into warm water. Like resting. At some point, I looked down and realized my hands had stopped shaking. She left the room so I could change. I slipped into the pink camisole and the skirt. The bra felt awkward. I adjusted the straps 3 times, still not right. But when I looked in the mirror, something quiet happened. I didn't look beautiful, but I didn't look wrong. When I stepped out, Caroline gave me a small smile. "Stand there for a second," she said. She walked around me slowly, like she was seeing more than clothes. "The shape of that skirt works well on you. But the color? Maybe something deeper. Wine. Or navy." She wasn't judging, just noticing. I tried on other things, some mine, some hers. A sleeveless red dress that clung to my hips. A pale blue nightgown I was afraid to love. She helped me pin my hair back. Then she sat me in the chair and began to apply makeup. Her fingers were gentle. The brush tickled my cheek. I felt like a canvas, like clay, like something being shaped. We didn't speak for a while. I just listened to the rain and the soft clicks of her tools. Then she said, "You're very still when you're seen." That's rare. I didn't know what to say. So I whispered, "I don't want to wake up." Something changed after that visit. I couldn't go back to before. I found myself standing in the women's section of a department store, holding a silk blouse with both hands. My heart pounded. I walked out without buying it. But I came back 2 days later. I started going out late at night, just walks. I kept my head down, but each time I lifted it a little more. That's how I met Samuel. It was cold. I'd stopped under a streetlight to adjust my scarf. He came out of a coffee shop, paper cup in hand, and paused. "You okay?" he asked. I looked at him. Not too tall. Broad shoulders. Brown eyes with a calm in them. "Just cold," I said. My voice was too soft, but he didn't flinch. He held out the cup. Here. I just got this. Still hot. I hesitated. I'm Samuel, he added, not trying anything weird. I took the cup. Our fingers touched. I smiled, almost. We met a week later. Then another. I didn't tell him everything. Not right away. But he saw me. Really saw me. He never laughed. Never asked why. One night, he ran his hand down my arm and said, "You don't have to hide with me." We lay together, dressed. Nothing rushed. His breath on my neck, his hand on my waist. Not sex. Not even quite romance. Just closeness. Just real. He whispered, "You're more than what you wear, Eric. But you're never more beautiful than when you feel safe." But life isn't a movie. And safety is never permanent. He was at my apartment one evening when my brother showed up. I hadn't expected him. A key from the past. The door opened and everything fell. "What the hell is this?" my brother said. Samuel stood up slowly. I tried to speak, but I couldn't. My brother's face twisted. He walked out. The silence after felt like the edge of a cliff. Samuel looked at me. "You never told him?" I shook my head. He stayed that night. But things changed. Slowly. A distance grew between us. He didn't blame me. But I think the bubble broke. One night I came home and found a note. "I'll always care for you. But I think your path is something you have to walk a little further alone. I hope one day you find peace, however you wear it." I cried until I couldn't breathe. Caroline called a few days later. She didn't ask questions. Just said, "Come if you need to." I went back to her studio. I wore the pale blue nightgown. She brushed my hair. No words. Just the sound of the brush moving, steady and soft. After a while, I looked in the mirror and said, "I don't think I'll ever be enough for anyone." She leaned down, kissed the top of my head. "You were enough the first moment you stepped through my door." I nodded. The tears were quiet this time. It's been a year since then. I still walk at night sometimes. I still try on new clothes. I still remember Samuel's hand on my back, warm and steady, but I've stopped hiding. Some mornings, I stand by the window in my robe, coffee in hand, and watch the light change. And sometimes, I whisper to myself, not loudly, just enough. You are still becoming. You are still real. And you are still becoming the woman you were never allowed to be.